Welcome to the Sports Card Hustle.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Combry coming to you with another episode on the Sports Card Hustle channel, where we're going to talk to you about the top 5, that's right, top 5 most valuable Dennis Rodman cards. Or if you're a Rodman fan from back in the 90s, you would know he was betterly known as the Worm. So we're going to go over the top 5 most valuable Worm cards today, with The Last Dance upcoming and the special documentary on Netflix about to release. I thought this was the opportune time to cover the valuable Rodman cards. And in the next episode, we're going to be covering, guess what? Scottie Pippen's cards. And then the following episode, to kind of inaugurate or welcome the Last Dance documentary, we're going to be covering the top 10 most valuable Michael Jordan cards. Before we get on into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, because it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and lets YouTube know that other sports card collectors, investors, and flippers should be watching these videos so they can learn more about the hobby we all love. So let's get right into it, because I am extremely excited, being that I was a Bulls fan in the 90s and I was especially a Rodman fan. So I am extremely excited to share with you the 5 most valuable Dennis Rodman cards. All right, coming to you in the number 5 spot is the 1996 Topps Chrome Dennis Rodman card. And this is a very unique card because, as you can see, Dennis Rodman is stretched out for the board like he's willing to risk his body and limbs. And if you remember anything about Rodman, that was exactly what he was willing to do. He was willing to risk body and limbs just to get the boards. That is probably why he's arguably the greatest, if not one of the greatest, rebounders of all time. And it's a very cool card because, as you can see, Michael Jordan is just looking at him with amazement and approval down in the bottom corner of the card. And Rodman has his iconic green hair. Now, you never knew what he was going to come to the game with. Was it going to be green? Was it going to be pink? Or was it going to be something in between? Polka dots, you never really know. And that's what made Rodman such an enigmatic character and such an entertaining rebounder or player to watch when he was on the floor. You never really knew what you were going to get when it came to Rodman and his attitude. You just knew that he was going to play very, very hard and probably jump after the boards no matter what it would take. Now, this card recently sold on April the 4th, 2020 for $499. So not one of the most expensive cards I've covered when I've done these most valuable lists, but it's a very affordable card if you want to own a piece of Rodman's history. Now, this card has a PSA 10 population of 19, so it's actually quite rare. So for $499, I think it could be a great addition, if you are a Rodman fan, to your collection. And that is the number 5 card on today's list. Now, coming to you in the number 4 spot is going to be the rarest card on today's list. We have the 1996 Finest Refractor with Coating Dennis Rodman card. This card has the great Gladiators insignia on top of it. And that's really what Rodman was, a gladiator. He came and fought every single night. He was the underdog coming into the league. I mean, most people never even thought he would make it into the league if you looked at the history of his playing career. But he did, because he is a gladiator, and I personally love the gold trim on this card. It gives the card a very unique look. He still has an iconic haircut, bleached blonde. So not quite the green from before, but it is the rarest card on this list, and it recently sold for $550 on April the 13th, 2020. So I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that the Last Dance documentary is about to come out. It may not, but it recently sold for a whopping $550, and there's only one of these, that's right, one of these in a PSA 10. So that's a very rare card if you are looking to own a piece of history and have something on the rarer side. It's going to be very difficult to get this card, but this would be the card to own, the 1996 Finest Refractor with Coating Dennis Rodman card. All right, now coming to you in the number 3 spot is the 2003 SP Signature Authentic Signature Gold Dennis Rodman card. Now this is numbered to 50. The one that recently sold was number 25, so you can imagine what the number 1 card might sell for. But this card was numbered 250 and has an on-card auto. So it's a great card. He has his signature red hair with the red uniform, probably the best look that Rodman had back in the day because it matched the Bulls uniform and it had a lot of flair to it. But this card recently sold for a significant amount more than the 2 previous cards we covered because it sold for $1,025 on February the 17th, 2020. And there is only 2 of these in population at a PSA 10. So this was back before the Last Dance documentary was coming up because the documentary comes out this weekend. This sold back in February, so I'm not sure if the documentary will increase the card prices or the card prices increased before the documentary because of the hype. But this card could potentially sell for a lot more than $1,025. So I think personally, whoever got it got themselves a steal. And for me, it is a great looking card. It is a on-card auto, and it's a very limited card. So you kind of get everything. It's a great looking card. It is a on-card auto, and it's a numbered card that's very, very low print run. So you get a little bit of everything with this card. I think they got themselves a steal, but only time will tell. All right, now coming to you in the number 2 spot today is the oldest card on the list, and one of the only cards on the list that Rodman does not have some iconic, crazy dyed hair. It is the 1988 Fleer Dennis Rodman card. So this goes back to the days when he was on the Detroit Pistons, and this card is probably the least rare of anything on the list, but for a collector, it's one that is also extremely sought out. It recently sold for $1,490 on April 13th, 2020. So an astronomical price compared to the other cards on the list today. And it has a PSA 10 population of 198. So there obviously is a lot of demand for this card. It is still quite rare, but it is one of the only cards that Dennis Rodman is not sporting some sort of crazy looking hair. And if you are a true Rodman fan, this is probably the card you're going to want to have in your collection because this is before he ever became the Worm. All right, now we are about to get into the most valuable Dennis Rodman card on today's list. And before we do, it is time to cue a drum roll, please. And the number 1 most valuable Dennis Rodman card on today's list is the 2003 SP Signature Famous Nicknames Autograph. So this is an autographed card that has the nickname The Worm, and it is an on-card auto. So it is an awesome card to have in any Dennis Rodman collection because it's going back to the nickname of The Worm. And as you can see, he has that crazy, iconic polka dot or worm-like haircut because you really don't know what it is when you're looking at it. But it is a hell of a lot of bit crazy, and that is what Dennis Rodman was known for. This card recently sold for $2,026 on February 17th, 2020, and there is only 2, that's right, 2 of these in a PSA 10 in existence, so it is another very extremely rare card, and it is the only card that has the nickname The Worm on it on today's list. So that makes it very unique in and of itself. This has been the top 5. That's right, we only had 5 today, but the top 5 most valuable Dennis Rodman cards. And with the Last Dance documentary upcoming this weekend, I thought it was the perfect time to cover Dennis Rodman. In the next episode, we're going to cover Scottie Pippen. And then we're going to get right into Michael Jordan with the top 10 most valuable Jordan cards. So I hope you stick around. Subscribe down below. Really helps me out with the YouTube algorithms. And give it a big thumbs up. That way YouTube knows to make sure other sports card collectors, investors, flippers, and in this case, Dennis Rodman fans look into the video and watch it to learn some more about his cards. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace!